Chapter 5 of Poppy Playtime isn't just darker, it's meaner. This is the chapter where hope collapses, where the villain stops hiding, and where nearly every major trope shifts the story into full tragedy. We get brutal reveals, we get emotional destruction, we get a villain who doesn't just win, he dominates. And what makes Chapter 5 so powerful isn't just what happens, it's how it uses classic narrative tropes to completely rewire the story. So today, we're breaking down every major trope in Chapter 5 and why each one matters. Because this chapter doesn't just move the story forward, it burns it down. The Puppet Master in full view. Before we even get into the main tropes, we have to address something fundamental. Chapter 5 ends speculation. The prototype is no longer a shadow. He's no longer just a hand. He is revealed in full, a mechanical jester with a glowing eye, an unnatural grin, and an arachnid lower half that feels almost theatrical in its design. This is the embodiment of manipulation, and everything that follows reinforces that he has been controlling the board from the very beginning. 1. All for nothing. This is one of the most devastating moments in the chapter. Poppy believes she has a purpose. She believes she can save the orphans. She believes the destruction of the factory means something. And then the prototype implies something horrifying. He heavily suggests the orphans are already dead. Not just dead, but turned into experiments. When he says they are in a better place now, Poppy's reaction removes all ambiguity. She doesn't question it, she doesn't deny it, she knows.
Yeah, just keep going. You're almost there.
Because it invalidates
right there. Just
everything the
hit the
heroes
scanner.
thought they were fighting for. The mission wasn't delayed. It was already too late. And that realization completely shatters the emotional foundation of the chapter. Even worse, the tape from Eddie Riddiman suggests experiments are continuing elsewhere in the world. Which means the factory's destruction did nothing. Nothing was stopped. Everything continues. 2. Back from the dead. This one is downplayed, but incredibly important. Near the end of the chapter, the protagonist is mortally wounded by the prototype, impaled, left dying, dumped into a vat of poppy gel. The intention is clear, drown. But instead of dying, the protagonist is pulled out in time by giblets. The poppy gel heals the injuries completely. Now this isn't just a fake-out death, it changes the rules of survival. It confirms poppy gel is more than industrial material. It's restoration. It's a resurrection. And narratively, it tells us something critical. The prototype thought he had won. He miscalculated just slightly. And that small miscalculation is the only reason the story continues. 3. The bad guy wins a Chapter 5 doesn't sugarcoat anything. By the end, Poppy is captured. The protagonist is nearly killed. Huggy is fatally stabbed. Kissy is brutally impaled. The orphans are confirmed dead. There is no heroic turnaround. There is no last-minute save. The prototype wins every major confrontation. Even your survival isn't victory, it's accident. This trope changes the tone of the series permanently. The player is no longer climbing toward triumph. You are surviving inside someone else's dominance. 4. Cliffhanger. And just when you think it can't escalate further, it does. Poppy has been captured. Your only ally left is Giblet. You activate the backup. And what appears on the screen? Harley Sawyer. The familiar eye flickers. The voice returns. The chapter ends. This isn't just a cliffhanger, it's destabilizing. Because we don't know if Harley is salvation or another manipulator. The power vacuum might not be empty. It might just be shifting. 5. Damsel in Distress. Chapter 5 brings back a classical trope, but twists it. Poppy and Kissy are imprisoned in Lily's house. They are tied up, helpless. The player must free them without Lily noticing. But this isn't simple rescue, because once freed, they are immediately dragged into something worse. Rescue doesn't restore balance, it delays collapse. Chastes's the Terminator. The train chase sequence proves something undeniable. The prototype does not stop. Nothing slows him down for long. He keeps up with a moving train on foot. He absorbs obstacles. He recalculates. He continues. This is pure relentless pursuits. And it reinforces that this villain isn't emotional chaos. He's methodical inevitability. 7. Does not know his own strength. When the prototype squeezes Poppy's head, it's meant to intimidate. But he overdoes it. Her porcelain skin cracks. Her eye is crushed. Hair falls. Bone and muscle are exposed. And then something subtle happens. He looks at his fingers. Confused, almost surprised. This suggests he didn't intend that level of damage, which makes him more dangerous. He doesn't fully understand himself. 8. Ice cream. Poppy losing her right eye is not just visual horror. It symbolizes vulnerability. She loses vision. She loses symmetry. She loses control. And visually, it permanently scars her character design. There is no undoing it. 9. Facial horror. This moment pushes the horror further. Her cracked porcelain, exposed bone, missing eye, broken expression. Poppy becomes visibly damaged, and it mirrors what's happening emotionally. She's not just hurt physically, she's shattered psychologically. Diviny. Fission failed. The game over screen appears when you are stabbed and dumped into poppy gel. It feels final, but it isn't. The protagonist regains consciousness. Giblet saves them. This fake ending reinforces the idea that death is close, not guaranteed. It also plays with player
Find me,
expectations.
Poppy,
You think it's over.
before
It
he
isn't.
does something.
Yes.
She'll regret.
Demite.
Nothing is more important to me than this.
Huggy Wuggy finally corners the protagonist. Kissy tries to calm him. It almost works. For a second, redemption feels possible. Then the prototype stabs Huggy from behind. Instantly, brutally. Redemption is denied. Hope is erased. And the prototype reminds everyone who controls outcomes. 11. Impaled with extreme prejudice. Notice the pattern. Huggy, Kissy. The protagonist. All stabbed through the back. The prototype uses impalement as punishment. It's not random violence. It's calculated execution. And it reinforces his dominance over the entire hierarchy of the factory. 12. Monster Clown. The full reveal of the prototype as a robotic jester with a single glowing eye and arachnid lower half cements this trope. The grin doesn't move when he speaks. The theatrical design, the puppet aesthetic, the performance-like menace. He is both entertainer and executioner, and that duality makes him deeply unsettling. 13. No, Mr. Bond. I expect you to dine. Willis captures Poppy, Kissy, and the protagonist. They're tied around a tea table. The prototype arrives. Instead of killing them immediately, he confronts them, reveals himself, escalates tension. It's theatrical domination, and the moment spirals into chaos when he injures Poppy by accident. Offhand, Batman. Confronting the captives, Lily won't stop talking. The prototype, already irritated, skewers her toy without breaking eye contact with Poppy. It's casual violence, effortless, and it reinforces that he doesn't tolerate distraction. 50. Oh crap! That subtle flinch after Poppy's head cracks, the glance at his fingers, the brief hesitation. It suggests something went further than intended, and for a split second, even seems surprised. 16. Protection in mouth. When the prototype gets too close, Chum hides the player inside of his belly mouth. This moment reinforces the desperation of the situation. Protection isn't strategic, it's primal. 17. The reveal. The audio tapes dropped one of the biggest bombs in the series. The prototype wasn't pretending to be honest, and it's implied he may be Elliot Ingram's son, which makes him Poppy's brother. This reframes the entire conflict. This isn't just rebellion, it's family corruption. Will you say something, Oliver?
You don't have to be angry,
That one word,
Huggy.
Oliver. It confirms identity. It
Now,
confirms
now,
history. It
let's all
confirms
practice our
emotional
breathing.
stakes.
In,
19. Wham shot. The familiar eye flickers on
And
the
out.
backup screen. The deep voice returns. Harley Sawyer is back. The doctor isn't gone. And the story isn't finished. 20. Would hurt a child. When Poppy asks about the orphans, the prototype calmly implies they're dead. Used, experimented on. This confirms his moral boundary is non-existent. He would hurt a child without hesitation. The prototype's possessive behavior toward Poppy is disturbing. It isn't behavior, it's obsession, control. Really Love Race mirrors that dynamic jealousy. You monster! Poppy's reaction upon learning the truth is pure fury. Not fear, not shock, rage. That emotional explosion confirms everything. Conclusion. Chapter 5 doesn't just advance the story. It weaponizes tropes. It uses them to destroy hope, confirm tragedy, reveal identity, establish dominance, and reset the power dynamic completely. The prototype is no longer myth, it's inevitable. And if Chapter 5 is the villain's victory, Chapter 6 might be the reckoning.